This WeatherScope is sponsored by Midas Auto Systems Experts. What can we do for you today?
This is WeatherScope.
A winter storm that has affected much of the east over the last 2 days is now focused on you folks in the northeast. You're seeing some snow and freezing rain in parts of central and northern New England, and flooding heavy rain, a problem this morning in southern New England. Good morning, I'm Rick Griffin. Welcome to WeatherScope. We've got special coverage for you, and with all the details, let's start with Mark Mancuso in the Forecast Center. Good morning, Mark.
And good morning, Rick. Thank you very much. It's been a wild night and early morning across most of eastern New England as the winds have been howling, the rain has been coming down in buckets, and there's even been thunderstorms. Earlier, there was a severe thunderstorm warning. And yes, of course, just a little bit of winter there. We had some snow at the onset. Jim Cantori, he's standing by live, he's telling us earlier there's silver dollar flakes, and poof, that snow coated the ground and then quickly is now being washed away. Let's show you where that wild storm is, and the center of the circulation is way over here in Ohio, but its effects are far-reaching as it has been the past several days. Right here along the coast and just offshore is a conveyor belt of moisture, and that's directed right on here on up into eastern New England where it has been pouring. But with all this maritime air coming on in, flowing around the storm, you know what? All the cold air has been retreating. It's headed north. Look at that. Temperature is rising. All the very cold air is north of the St. Lawrence River. Here's the St. Lawrence Seaway. This is where the real chill is. So it's taking its sweet time draining on in. And if anything, it's being pushed out with that mild maritime air. Look how mild it is in New York and Philly, D.C. Philly, though, all the saturation here, they're getting lots of fog. Now, as you see on the radar, big swirl here in Ohio with the parent low, but there's your conveyor belt of moisture coming right on up into New England, and this conveyor belt is working full force. So all this mild moist air coming on in, that is pushing the rain-snow line farther north, and rain lines way up here now, so we can get rid of this mix here. It's all rain, and it's coming down heavily. And of course, with a major storm coming through the northeast, we have to put somebody there in its path. And Jim Cantori, the last time I was talking to you with the big storm in the northeast, we were talking about tons of snow. This time we're talking about lots of rain.
And actually, Mark, I was at this very spot, believe it or not. We're at the Crown Plaza Hotel right here in Natick, Massachusetts, Route 9 heading into Boston. It's usually what, Mark, about a 30-minute drive or so? It's about 45 to an hour today. There's a lot of standing water on the roads as a result of over 2 inches of rain in the Boston area. Problems with slush on the roads north, well north of 495 now. They had as much as 4 inches of snow on the Mass New Hampshire border and then up through the Monadnock region as well. So they still got some slush. Now that's all rain, so a miserable drive up that way. And it's just cold and raw, and you got to think, man, it's February. I'd much rather have snow than rain. And I mean, there's no snow on the ground. I mean, we were here December 20th, 22nd, this exact spot, and we had snow up to our knees. But that has all changed, obviously, as a result of what has been a pretty mild and non-snowy January and February up in this part of the world. But don't ever turn your back on March, I promise you that. Other than that, Mark, again, folks are experiencing delays at Logan Airport this morning, and the traffic's just a slow go as we get these periods of heavy rain. So far, over 2 inches in Metro Boston. Back to you.
Okay, thank you, Jim, and we'll keep an update on that storm with you throughout the morning. Signing off. See ya. All right, let's take a look at the lightning data, and this tells us a little bit more about the conveyor belt coming on up. And now we're getting some flood warnings here in southeast Rhode Island and southeast Massachusetts, in particular Bristol County in southeast Mass, and in east central Rhode Island, Bristol County, and in southern Rhode Island, Newport County. Down here we have flood warnings as there has been over 3 inches of rain. You can see it's still coming down. As Jim mentioned, there's been 1 to 2 inches in the greater Boston area. Now some heavy rain headed on up through southeast New Hampshire and southwest Maine. Way up to the north from the Kankamangas points north, that's where you find the snow. But it is a very mild and very windy storm and rainy one for New England. Things tapering down in New York City, but on Long Island early this morning, still a little bit of tapering rain and drizzle. So it was a wet morning commute for you on your way into the Big Apple, but no major problems here. The worst is over. Had about an inch to an inch and a half of rain, but it might be wise to keep the umbrella handy just in case a few light showers sneak in today. Temperatures still showing mild air from Philly to New York City. All right. If you're away from your television, need more weather information, visit our online service, weather.com. Now your forecast and more with Rick Griffin.
Thanks, Mark. Well, what a difference 24-hour makes. Yesterday at this time, the southeast was being clobbered by violent thunderstorm activity, but the weather scenario has changed dramatically since then. So we now have high pressure, for instance, moving into the sunshine state of Florida after some big storms in Orlando and Jacksonville. Jacksonville, if you remember, had 8 or 9 inches of rain Monday night, Tuesday morning. Today, the sun's going to be out, and it should be 75 degrees and nearly 80-degree weather in Orlando and Tampa in the cards today. And just about all of you near the Gulf Coast will share in this high-pressure system and some fine midwinter weather conditions. Pensacola, Gulfport, Mobile, New Orleans, Houston, we think, too. Now, in South Florida, you can see the front still nearby, so light showers across the Keys, Florida Bay and vicinity, moving northeast, but no severe weather, none expected. On the west winds, we've got